Riftbound doesn't even launch until October 31st, and stores are already getting a fraction of the product they wanted, and it's completely sold out online. And this isn't some rumor floating around Discord. Riot themselves had to release an official statement saying, quote, "Due to overwhelming demand, our pre-order store experienced extremely heavy traffic. We're looking into potential solutions." That's corporate speak for, we didn't print enough cards. So what happened? Why is the most hyped TCG of 2025 already turning into a supply disaster before anyone's even opened a pack in the US? Let's break it down. Riftbound is Riot's first ever physical trading card game. It has been hyped nonstop since it was announced. It was released in China, and the hype is getting bigger and bigger every day in the US. You got a massive built-in fan base, iconic champions on cards, competitive scenes already being organized, and streamers showing off early gameplay. Demand was never going to be small. But when pre-orders opened back in August, things went sideways instantly. The first wave sold out within hours. Riot opened a second pre-order window just not too long ago here in October, and that one literally disappeared in minutes. Now, here's where it gets crazy. Allocations, meaning how much product stores are receiving, is crazy low. 2 of my LGSs told me they're only getting 4 copies of the Proving Grounds. Not 4 cases, 4 boxes. That's not enough. And when I checked Reddit, the numbers weren't much better. Some stores said they're getting 20 booster boxes total. A few lucky ones said they're getting 50 boxes. But honestly, the majority were around that 20 boxes per store. That's just not enough. So before release day even happens, most stores won't even have enough for even a small tournament, or let alone maybe even enough product for weekly play. That's sad. Meanwhile, online sellers are already listing Riftbound booster boxes for $200 a pop, when the MSRP for this is $120. That's a 75% markup before launch. Not to mention the Proving Grounds, which is a $30 MSRP product, being sold for $90 online. It's crazy. Scalpers are jumping in fast because they know demand is outpacing supply by a mile. And honestly, I can't even blame the players for feeling frustrated. I honestly may have had a shot to get 2 booster boxes. I don't even know how I'm going to get the Proving Grounds because every place is so limited. Once product starts landing at stores, I'll be doing full market breakdowns, prices, restocks, and whether Riot managed to steady the ship. So if you want to stay updated and not get burned by the first wave, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I post new Riftbound updates. I'll be posting deck techs and market breakdowns every week, so you don't want to miss any of this. That public statement Riot posted tells us a lot without saying it directly. They blame traffic, checkout errors, and overwhelming demand. While that's true, but it's also a distraction. The real problem isn't their website. It's that the print run was way too small. This is Riot's first time managing a global physical TCG release. They're used to digital launches like Valorant or League, where more supply just means spinning up another server. But physical cards, you just can't download another pallet of booster boxes. Even though, I'm not gonna lie, I think that would be pretty cool. Printing, shipping, and distributing through local game stores require months of lead time and coordination with manufacturing partners as well. And Riot's never done that before. Now, they should have had some learning lessons releasing the product in China, but maybe that just didn't apply for the US market. So when pre-orders exploded, they couldn't just hit print more. They were already locked into the first wave's numbers. And that's why we're seeing those reduced allocations across all the stores. Now, Riot did follow up with another statement this month, and on that surface, it sounds positive. They thank players for the support, say they sold out faster than expected, and then told everyone that Riftbound will be hitting your local game store in the next 2 weeks. Sounds reassuring, right? But here's the issue. They're encouraging players to go to their LGS to buy product, while ignoring the fact that most LGSs are barely getting any product at all. That's not a fix. To me, that's kind of a deflection. As I mentioned earlier, 2 of my LGSs told me their Riftbound allocations are 4 boxes of the Proving Grounds. Yes, just 4. And again, I mentioned this before, I've seen multiple posts from stores saying they're getting 20 to 50 booster boxes in total for the entire community. That includes release events, weekly events. That's nowhere near enough to meet demand. So when Riot says, don't worry, check your LGS, it pushes pressure on store owners, not on Riot's production pipeline. Players walk into their LGS expecting stock, and when it's not there, they're going to blame the store. Meanwhile, Riot gets to say, hey, we told you to check your local retailer. It's a smart PR move, but it doesn't solve the root problem. If anything, this messaging shows that Riot's still not ready for what a successful physical TCG launch actually looks like. You can't spin your way out of a supply shortage. Players notice when the shelves are empty, or they can't get their hands on any product, or they see just scalped prices everywhere. To make matters worse, this game's hype cycle is massive. League has one of the largest gaming communities on the planet. So even if just 1% of League players decided to buy Riftbound cards, that's millions of boxes worth of demand. No new TCG can meet that instantly, especially not on their first print run. That's why this shortage isn't just an inconvenience. It can actually hurt Riftbound's long-term growth if players cannot get product early. Remember what happened with Gundam TCG when Bandai launched it? And if you haven't played Gundam TCG, well, same thing is happening with Riftbound. With Gundam, boxes sold out instantly, prices skyrocketed, and new players got locked out for months. It created a collector's bubble before the competitive scene even formed. Riftbound is walking straight into that same trap. If you're someone who wanted to play Riftbound casually or jump into the release events starting October 31st, your odds of finding sealed product at MSRP are slim. Unless you manage to get a pre-order at an LGS or order in the first wave, chances don't look good for some product. Those release events might be the only way for many players to actually touch the cards at launch. And even then, stores will have to ration product in order to support weekly play. So what does this mean for you as a player or a collector? First, don't fall for a $200 scalper boxes. It is not worth it. Every TCG that launches this hot eventually gets restocked. For example, Star Wars Unlimited stabilized after its first wave. Gundam is trying to stabilize, but I think they're still having issues. One Piece stabilized after their first couple of sets, and Riot will too. They're not going to abandon a game this big after one sellout. Second, if your main goal is to play, you should probably focus on the singles. That's the smart move. When the first wave hits and people crack boxes, singles are going to flood the market briefly before prices stabilize. You'll be able to build decks way cheaper than buying sealed product, because remember, $200 for a booster box, it's not worth it. Yes, you'll miss out on all the unboxing experience, but you actually get to play, which is the point of this game. By the way, if you're going to be buying singles, check out my TCG player affiliate link in the description. I get a small commission when you place orders, which directly supports this channel. So thank you. Third, stay plugged into your local game store. A lot of them are frustrated too. They want to run events, but they can if they only have a handful of boxes. Riot's already promised to increase supply and make future pre-orders smoother, but we're probably months away from that. Your LGS will be first to know when new stock arrives, so make sure they know you're interested. And by going to weekly events, they're going to know you're interested. Most LGSs will sell product to their locals before anyone else. This is my biggest recommendation. Now, I want to make this very clear. This isn't me rooting against Riftbound. I'm actually very excited for this game. From what I've seen of the mechanics, the artwork, it looks incredible. It feels like a blend of League of Legends and Runeterra strategy with the tactile joy of a physical TCG, which is exactly what this hobby needs. But for Riot to capitalize on that excitement, they have to get distribution under control fast. If players can't buy or play the game, all that hype fizzles. And once players move on, it's hard to get them back. That's why I'm calling this video Riftbound Might Fail at Launch. Not because the game itself is bad, but because accessibility can kill momentum faster than bad gameplay ever could. The early allocation data, the pre-order chaos, the official statement, all of it points to a launch that's already straining under its own demand. Here's my advice to anyone watching. Don't panic buy sealed boxes above MSRP. Scalpers thrive on fear. Let them sit on inventory when the next print run drops. Trust me, they'll drop prices and you'll get some great deals on product. Show up for your local release events. Even if the product is limited, that's still the best way to play early and meet other Riftbound fans. Track singles. If you just want decks, this is the move. Prices for commons and uncommons will normalize fast. Also, you want to be vocal, but constructive. Riot's paying attention. If players push for fair restocks and transparent communication, I'm sure they will respond. They want to make this game successful. To wrap this up, Riftbound has everything it needs to succeed. Great gameplay, gorgeous art, a crazy awesome IP, and community excitement through the roof. What it doesn't have right now is enough boxes to meet that excitement. If Riot could fix that quickly, this game is going to explode. But if they stumble through the launch window, we might see players bail before it even gets going. I'll be watching closely. And for those of you getting ready to compete, I've actually started a new series on the channel, which is Road to Regionals, where I'm documenting my grind for the first ever Riftbound Regional Qualifier happening in Houston this December. I'm going to be testing decks, going against the meta, and see if I can earn that regional invite. So if you want to follow that journey, stick around. Until then, good luck finding that product. May your pulls be legendary. Peace.